Hey, how you doing? Glad you came in, tapped in. We're going to jump right into it. We don't play any games here. So Sam Rothstein, a high value simp. Okay, so we'll start off. A lot of people have been following Kevin Samuels, and a lot of people always ask, what is a high value man? And so, um, if I recall, he breaks it down to like five different traits that will kind of dictate whether you're a high value man. And it's like you'd have to be making about at least $10,000 a month, right? And that was like adjusted for earnings in Atlanta, Georgia, right? So making $10,000 a month, right? Um, then it was the length of time um, getting this money, earning this money, that whole habit and energy of getting this money constantly. So length of time of and performance, right? Um, then the other one was like group acceptance by other high value men. So it's not enough to just be the lone wolf. It is now, are you accepted amongst your peers, your fellow high value men? Do they see you as an asset, with them? And that goes into the other one, which was having a full network of high value men. So it's not enough that you have guys that view you as a high value man, but do you have a network of them? So if you have 10 guys and they're all high value men, you've got a hell of a thing going on right now. You've got a force, you've got a coalition um, to be reckoned with, because you can tap on them. And if, like I said, in order for you to be a high value man, you have to have a network. So if you're with 10 guys that are high value, that means each of them have a network to tap in. So that's all like exponentially raised to the 10th power. And lastly, I think the other one was utility. Do you have a use? Do you have a use? What do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? How do you enrich um, that inner circle, that core group, uh, that network of high value men or whoever you're dealing with, right? Do you have utility and purpose, right? So now let's reconnect this, because I said Sam Rothstein from the movie Casino, based off the real um, mafia affiliated uh, guy, Sam Rosenthal. Um, Sam Rothstein, played by Robert De Niro in Casino, he was a high value man, but he was also a high value simp. Okay, so why did I say he was a high value man? He was earning way more than $10,000 a month, way more than that, right? Way more than that. On top of that, he had his stuff in order, right? From his dress, always dress impeccable, sharp, professional. His countenance, his demeanor, um, how he presented himself, no nonsense. He looked appeared intelligent. He appeared bold, stern, um, competent in what he did. Um, no nonsense. So the external package of Rob De Niro and Casino, that was sealed, and that wasn't even a part of the high value man traits. But he had the look too. So, the suits, suited fit well, matching, all of that. Had the no nonsense demeanor, had the swag too. Um, then at the same time, he was getting it for a long time. He was running with the Kansas City Bosses for a long time, getting them money because he said that he was, uh, you know, he helped them bet on college basketball games, college football games, whether it was horse track betting, whether it was just regular like car gambling, and things of that nature. Um, that was his thing, and he was doing it for years. And so they felt so comfortable assigning him to a greater task, which was running the Tangiers, putting him out of the state, taking him out of Kansas, and putting him in Las Vegas to run the casino, the head casino. So that's how you know that he was of value. See, he had utility right there. So that's the utility component. He, because of his expertise and understanding statistics and probability and numbers and how systems and infrastructure work, he's able to derive certain wins and outcomes. And based on those wins and outcomes, he's able to generate significant revenue that the mafia and that syndicate that was a great benefit to them, right? So he was also recognized amongst his peers. He had a network. The whole syndicate was a network of high value men, and he was doing it for a long time. So yes, Robert De Niro, Sam Ace Rothstein was a high value man. But here is the thing, and this is where all men must be conscious and cognizant of, is that you may have your ducks in a row lined up in one aspect, one sector of your life, but in the same time, you lack those boundaries and standards and regulations, and you allow people to cut corners when it comes to your romantic section of your life. And see, when you don't hold a woman accountable and responsible for their behavior and willing to cut them off or cuss them out or just put some straightening down. And I'm not talking about physically abusing them. That's not what I'm talking about. But I mean putting straightening and telling them exactly what they're doing, what you don't like, what you expect in a relationship, and holding true to it. And when they don't follow those rules and those boundaries or those standards, hey, I'm done. The relationship is over with. That's that. Ain't no coming back. You're not spinning the block. Go out, find somebody else. This is done. And you got to stand on that. You got to stand on that. You got to treat that like policy, right? So let's get into the simping now. See, I say simping, S-I-M-P. This is what I call simping, S-I-M-P. That means sacrificing intelligence, manhood, masculinity for pussy. S-I-M-P. S is sacrificing, I, intelligence, M is both masculinity and manhood, and P is the pussy. You guys can have your whole business aspect of your life together, making earnings, networking, doing all this stuff, life planning. But when it comes to women, you guys are soft. And you will simp. You will sacrifice your intelligence and intellect, your masculinity and manhood for pussy. S-I-M-P. Now, this is how it plays out with Robert De Niro, Sam Ace Rothstein, and we're gonna go through it. And let's go. So first off, in the break, we're gonna go sequentially through the movie, showing where the instances in where he dropped the ball and was simping when he should have stood on business or recognized red flags, called her out on a carpet, or recognized the red flag and been smart enough to avoid the pitfall, smart enough to know when to walk away. So you can either call a woman out, You could walk away or you can completely avoid. And those are the three things that when it comes to standing on business with a woman, men need to learn to exercise. Knowing to actually spot bad business with a woman that ain't about shit, a woman that's about games, all that. Learning how to see that red flag and just avoid it. Or B, knowing when to call her on her shit and not be scared of her flipping out, saying she gonna leave or do whatever. Who cares? Call her out on her stuff. Women appreciate that. Women respect that. Or just walking away. Now, let's jump. So first things first, when the movie starts, you see that he caught Ginger, he caught her scheming her own partner out of money. And they were at the gambling table. And she was stealing chips from the dude that was with her. And the dude saw her. He peeped it. He saw, oh, you stealing chips from me. I was we probably had a deal where we're going to split it 50-50 or something, but you being slick and you stealing extra chips. So then when he called her out on it, what did she do? She made a big scene, busted up the casino floor, started throwing chips all in the air, causing a lot of melee, disruption, and commotion. And Sam Rothstein, he witnessed the whole thing. He saw the whole thing. But that enticed him. That should have been a red flag right there for him, right? To let him know, avoid. Do not bring this woman into your stable. She can't be trusted. And then when she gets busted, she will cause melee, disturbance, commotion in your life. He was a moth addicted to the flame. Right? And so he fell in love with her for that. And that was symbolic to exactly what she was going to do in his life. And so, if you watch the movie, he said he fell in love right there. But in Vegas, love costs money. And so you see him giving her some money to go powder her nose. First, he gave her a $50 bill. Then she looked at him like, you tripping. So he gave her another 50. So then she went off, tricked off, did whatever she did. Then came back from the bathroom. He's like, you have any change? And she was like, oh, no, lied to him. Some little white lie, whatever. He was like, he knew she was lying, but he didn't give a fuck. Right? So he started simping off the break. Tricking early. And she knew she had him. She knew she had him. He could have called her out or cut her off, but no. She knew that he was either stupid or a sucker for love right there. And he didn't call her on her bullshit. So right there, she knew she could keep pushing the line. Because you're not going to call me on that, so I'm going to keep pushing the line. Now, her boyfriend, Lester, he was a pimp. And see, Sam thought that he could change her feelings for Lester with money and influence, but Lester Diamond had her mind. See, Lester wasn't afraid. Lester would smack her, curse her the hell out, all type of stuff. She respected him, in love with him. Sam was like, he asked her to marry him. And here's where I give Ginger all of her credit. Like, you cannot knock her at all for this, because she was straight up with him. Straight up. Ace asked her to marry him. They were sitting on the couch. He's looking at her in the eyes. I'd like to marry you and all this type of stuff. And she paused and hesitated. And she kept 100 with him. And she told him, you've got the wrong girl. You've only known me for 3 months. I care about you, but I just don't have those kind of feelings for you. I'm sorry, I'm just not in love with you. Boom! Boom! Right there. Right there. Like, she was straight up honest with him. Now, remember what I said. a man could either avoid it altogether, he can call you on your bullshit, or walk away midstream. So it was too late for him to, because he already expressed all his stuff. You know what I'm saying? But there was nothing for him to call her on right there because she was being flat out honest, genuine, authentic with her feelings. He thought he was going to make her change. He thought that because he had money, influence, and all this type of stuff, he could press her, mold her, shape her into loving him, which you just cannot do. Money cannot buy love. You know what I'm saying? It can't even buy respect. So that's where he messed up, and that was only for 3 months. 3 months. Um, and so he kept trying to convince her. He's like, it can grow based on if they have a mutual respect for each other. Straight, that was simp talk, right? And then he promised her that if it didn't work out, she would be set up for the rest of her life. Boom. Okay. So now you wheeling and dealing. And so so he bought her, right? And so he said, he heard all the stories, but he thought he could change her. So now she's going on your word. You said, if things don't work out, she's gonna be covered on the back end. She's going off of what you say. Now you say you a boss, you a high value man. I see you moving things, shaking things, conducting business, hobnobbing with the elite, doing all of this type of stuff. Okay, well, fine. I know you making millions. All right, well, shit. I'm from the streets, really. I just have a pimp boyfriend, so we probably only making just a few thousands here and there, hit or miss. A lick here, a lick there. But okay, basically, you talking about like I got a retirement plan if I choose you. Okay, well, fuck it, I'll choose up on you. And he fucked up. And then he said he impregnated her before they got married. Big mistake. Come on. That was a fool's move right there. Fool's move right there. Before you even see, he thought he was playing chess back then. No. No. You didn't even get married. You didn't even have a prenuptial. You didn't even have a prenuptial because you ain't married. But you got a kid by her. You a fool right there. All right. Then she got busted talking to Lester Diamond on the phone on her wedding night. Boom. Right there. Right there. And he didn't call her on her bullshit. He was trying to act understanding and all of this type of stuff. Nah. See? Then when you look at it, it's like within those 3 months he gave her heaven. The scene changed, and you see him flying into the city with her, and they go to the house, and he's introducing her to all the luxury and the opulence and the extravagance and the posh, lavish lifestyle that she's going to be introduced. She's going to be ensconced in all of these riches, and you see all the jewelry. You see the big walk-in closet, the size of a bedroom that has all her clothes and wardrobes laid out. All the furs and the minks and the silks, all that lined up for her. Then took her so they can get put $2 million inside and $2 million in cash and jewels in the bank. And yet she hasn't done anything to prove that she's going to be loyal to you. In fact, she already gave you a signal that she would be disloyal by the fact that she was communicating with her ex-pimp on your wedding night. But it don't make a difference. 3 months in, yeah, I'm gonna lavish you with all of this type of stuff. We're gonna put $2 million in the bank, and you're gonna have access to this. And even the banker himself was like, look, Uh, most of my clients do not give their wives this type of access and don't trust their wives like this. This is rather peculiar. You think you're moving a little. Sam ignored that, right? Now, here's the other thing too. When you're dealing with women, you got to know how to vet them. Do not, do not, I repeat, do not ever wife up and simp to a alcoholic or drug addict, because you're going to be dealing with somebody, one, who's not emotionally stable, who's not reliable, and because of their addiction, they're willing to compromise their integrity, compromise their morals, values, virtues, and do the unthinkable at times just to get a hit. Okay? And you're going to see that kind of manifest throughout the movie, right? So every time he turns around, she's drinking alcohol, she's getting stoned in front of people, getting stoned in front of the banker. She's stealing his prescription medication, snorting cocaine in front of her daughter when Lester had her out of the town. Drinking with his boy Joe Pesci, cocaine with Joe Pesci. A woman with the habit is a train wreck in terms of loyalty and promiscuity, man. I'm telling you, because see, when you're not around, and that vice, whether it's cocaine, whatever, opioids, alcohol, shit, weed, whatever. If they have a real addiction for this, and that itch comes itching and scratching at her, and you not supplying it, oh, she gonna go to a supplier. She gonna find it, and if she looks good, dudes are gonna be, oh, yo, why don't you come have a drink with me? Come sit down, have a drink, and let's smoke. Let's do a little toot right here, and try and get them high so they can have sex and intercourse. And there you go, right there, right? Now, the other part about him being a simp is he let her spin the block on him 4 times. 4 times in the movie. Like, she meets up with Lester Diamond at the diner to give him Sam's wealth and money, right? And gets busted at the diner. Sam has to come, recoup the money, get Lester Diamond beat up, toss inside his Cadillac, right? She's crying, all of that, whatever. Right there, he should have cut it. He should have cut it. Because, one, you're lying to me. You talking about you just need some money. And you won't tell me why you need money. But you're going to go get some money from me to go give to your pimp boyfriend. Right? And then I catch you in the lie and knowing that you took money out of our coffers to give to somebody else? Nah. He should have deaded that relationship right there, call her on her bullshit, and cut her off, walk away. He didn't do that. He let her spin the block, come back, right? She meets up with Lester Diamond again. And this time they're like at an out-of-town hotel, and they with his daughter, and gives him $25,000 for suits, watches, food, all type of stuff. He's having sex. He was doing drugs there. And then when she gets busted, Sam calls, she calls Sam like, oh, well, I know our daughter, you're requesting our daughter to come back, but can I come back? Can I come back too? Can she spin the block? Hell no. Hell no. That should have been his response. Just give me my daughter and F you. But that's not what he did. He took her in, thought he could give her a strong talking to, but nah. So she spent the block on him again, and he accepted it, right? Then Sam catches her on the phone late night talking to somebody, plotting to get him killed. Plotting to get him killed, right? And so then he barges in on the phone conversation, you know, grabs her, drags her, takes her little clothes, little money, tosses her out of the house. You know what I'm saying? Then a couple hours later, she comes back, lays in the bed with him, and he like puts his hand over to touch her, like, and he says like, I couldn't let her leave. I didn't want her to leave. Spent the block on him a third time right there, and this is after she plotted to get you hit. You caught her in the middle of conversation talking about getting you killed, and you still took her back. Simp. Simp. You sacrificing your intelligence, young man. And then, so she comes back later, and then took her back after she had sex with Joe Pesci, right? So, your boy Nicky, he's plowing your girl too, and then gets busted. He asked like, "Look, who were you at lunch with?" "Oh, I was at lunch with Nikki's wife." "Okay, well, okay. Well, call her and tell her to tell you what she had for lunch." And of course she had to confess because she knew that she was gonna be busted. And he was, "Look, I just hope it's not who I think it is, because if it is, this can ruin everything, right?" And basically, it was like, yeah, she had sex with Nikki, and Nikki was breaking her off, and he still took her back. So you're dealing with a simp. This guy has no standards. His emotions are way larger than his common sense. You have to think when you're dealing with women, right? Then it was like, it was so bad he had to give her a beeper. Now, when you have to give your woman an electronic device on the premise that you can't find her, or contact her, or communicate with her, you got a problem. That's not your woman. That woman belongs to the streets. If you have a woman that whenever you need her and you try to contact her, you can't get in contact with her, you don't know where she is, and then she threw away the beeper because whatever, no, that's not your woman. She is for the streets. That's not your woman. Oh, matter of fact, a woman that loves you and that's into you, she'll more than likely be checking on you. She's going to be calling you. She's going to be checking in to see what you up to, what you doing, where you at, what are you eating? Did you eat today? Are you okay? I was just thinking about you. Hey, do you want to go for lunch? I was thinking we should do this for dinner. When are we going to go out? That's how women operate when they are in love with you and they are on your team. Now a woman don't go ghost and you can't go find her and she's missing and you got to go track her down. That woman is not for you. She is for the streets. Remember that. A woman that's there for you, she gonna be checking in for you and checking in with you way more than you would on her. I promise you that. And then the other thing, I'll close off with this one. Your woman should never be confiding in your friends about your private affairs. All right, this is where things go wrong, and this is how you get snakes in your relationship. People involved in your relationship that shouldn't be there at all. This is how schemes come out. This is how she got entrenched and involved with Nikki. Or as Jada Pinkett said, entanglement. When you let people into your relationship, third parties, there's not, that's supposed to be between you and your woman. And that's it. High value Sam Ace Rothstein. Peace.